CataractCoach.com. Avoid this mistake with IOL insertion. You gape the incision, you lose OVD, the AC becomes shallow, the bag collapses, and the haptics in the sulcus. Here's a resident who's operating end of a case, normal case, filling the capsular bag with cohesive viscoelastic. It's a good fill of the capsular bag, good pressure, everything's fine. Here comes the IOL. Now the IOL is a single piece of acrylic, and it has to go, of course, completely in the capsular bag. Watch what happens. So that looks pretty good. Injector nozzle in the incision, starting to deliver the lens, goes in the eye very well. Notice how the eye's still full of viscoelastic, the AC is deep, the bag is completely inflated. There goes the lens, sliding in pretty nicely. Now let's get that trailing haptic in. Here's the problem. Watch the incision as it gapes and you lose viscoelastic. There's no pivoting in the incision. That failure to pivot is going to cause a loss of more of that viscoelastic burping out of the incision. Now the AC is shallow. Now the bag is collapsed. And you just kind of push the lens down there and say, that's pretty good, right? Look, I don't see the haptic anymore. It's behind the iris. That trailing haptic is in the sulcus. And that's why the IOL is not centered. So you can't leave it like this. It's tempting. Just take out the viscoelastic and leave it like this, we'll be done, right? Don't do it. We both know that trailing haptic's not in the capsular bag. So now using the eye probe to inflate the AC to re-deepen it. You could put more viscoelastic in, but you can also just do it with the eye probe to re-deepen the anterior chamber. And that haptic now, it's not in the bag. Look, it's for sure above the capsular rim, that trailing haptic. So you've got to dial this lens around and get it completely in the capsular bag. Remember, the cohesive viscoelastic sticks together, so if you gape the incision a little bit, it just burps out. You can see it burping out the paracentesis now, and that's just from the infusion pressure. But there's that haptic, and look, it was in the sulcus. Can't leave it like that. So let's get this dialed around. So the right hand holding the IA probe in the eye on foot pedal position 1, just infusion. And now the other hand to try to dial the lens around a little bit. That's not real effective there. You're going to have to do a little bit better job. So we need to get that haptic dialed into the capsular bag. And if it's not happening, take a big boulder measure and make it happen. It's for sure not in the capsular bag. If you leave it like this, the patient's going to get UGH syndrome, uveitis, glaucoma, hyphema syndrome. That thick haptic's going to scrape the back of the iris. It's going to be a hot mess. It's going to cause depigmentation of the posterior aspect of the iris. The IOL is going to be tilted in the eye, inducing all kinds of aberrations. It's not going to be good. So you've got to get that dialed around appropriately. So again, still not happening. That trailing haptic has to go in the bag. Now, if you wanted to, you could refill the eye with more viscoelastic. I get it. But instead, let's try this. Get right there at the haptic-optic junction, and let's get this rotated. You have to rotate it, dial it at the same time, slightly pushing posteriorly. And that's going to allow us to get that into the bag. Let's try one more time. So there's the edge, haptic-optic junction. You want to hold on to that junction right there and get it dialed in, and into the capsular bag it has to go. So again, still inefficient there. Resident's having a little bit of a trouble here, a little bit of a hard time. It's not really happening and kind of frozen, deer in the headlights now. Got to do something here. What are you going to do? We just keep looking. Well, okay, give it over to the attending. The attending will help you straighten that out. Here we go. Now it should happen a lot easier. So squirting the eye, let's get that in there. And now we can see there it is. Okay, that has to be pushed around, dialed in, and also into the bag. There you go. Now it's completely in the bag. And now you can see the optic will be overlapped by the capsular rex's edge. Let's see, is it in yet? No, maybe do another dial. That's in. And you'll see that arm now finally going into an appropriate position. Well, maybe not. One more try. I'm watching this with you. Let's put that chopper back in the eye. I see that haptic now is above the iris. Certainly that's not in a good position. Now let's see if we can dial it in the bag better. Rotating it still. It only looks easy in the movies, right, guys? It can be a lot harder than you think. So now I think it's appropriately placed into the capsular bag. Now you can remove all the viscoelastic. And now look, by magic, as if it seems, The lens stays beautifully centered no matter what, because both haptics are securely in the capsular bag. Remember, the capsular bag has a diameter of about 9 millimeters in an average eye, and the haptic overall size is about 12 millimeters, and so there's a little bit of a compression to really keep that IOL optic centered up beautifully. So when you're inserting your IOLs, watch your videos. Are you losing viscoelastic as you manipulate that trailing haptic with the chopper? If so, you need to learn to pivot that incision, otherwise you may end up with the trailing haptic in the sulcus.